Hi, friends. Welcome to Getting Your Real Estate Life Together. I'm Tracey Hicks with All Things Real Estate, and I'm super excited to meet one of my friends who is a customer, but now a friend, my friend Lana Rodriguez. Welcome.
Wow, Tracy, I'm so excited. OMG. I still remember when you and I met almost 3 years ago at my secret Keller Williams conference
Yeah.
where I was secretly shopping that company and checking it out. And this is exactly where I bought this hat. And I still
Yes.
have it. I rep in it, and we absolutely love your brand. And what have you created?
Well, we do it for you, obviously. It was so funny because I love that you outed yourself just there because I think it was my first Keller Williams conference. We got invited with another group and we basically joined their table. And so I got to bring my stuff to Keller Williams conference for the first time. And you were already a customer. So we already had known each other, like talked back and forth or whatever. And so when I got to meet you in person, I loved meeting our customers in person, first of all. It was so fun. And then you were like, okay, don't tell anyone because I'm shopping around and seeing what I think. And so that's how we met in person. I think that's the last time I saw you.
Yeah, that was the last time you saw me. And a year after that, we finally left Remax for 5 years, and we finally joined Keller Williams. And we're
Yeah.
currently with them a little over a year, and we feel like we're home.
Good, good. Okay, so let's just jump into that really quickly because I know that happens a
Sure.
lot with realtors when I've never worked for a large company. I've always been with the smaller boutique offices, my real estate career. And I know people are always, the number one question is always like, where do I go? Where do I hang my license? Whether you're new or if you've been with a company for a while. So tell us about that transition. And you were with Remax for 5 years. What made you think to start looking around how did that process go?
Good question. Thank you. And I'll be completely transparent because I know our audience, sometimes they may be questioning the brokers they're with. And for me, it came after 5 years. Okay. I was very dedicated to the brand of Remax. We're based in Colorado Springs, Colorado, and Remax is very Colorado heavy. The corporate is right in Denver. And when I was brand new baby agent, which was almost 6 years ago, me and my husband, he still is military. We moved from Texas into Colorado, and I got my real estate license. Prior to that, I was in retail, and I was working for some big brands like Kenneth Cole, Michael Kors, Ed Hardy. Ed Hardy, so somebody remembers that. Yeah, even that. And, being part of the brand was always important to me. That was my selling style. So when I was getting my license, I interviewed some of the brokerages in town, and Remax just had it all. My boss, this older Italian gentleman, he was like an old gangster, and I was sold. And to be honest, between you and I and our dear audience, is when I was a brand new baby agent, I had no sales behind me. I would go to the appointments, and people would ask, well, why should I hire you? I say, well, I have not sold any homes, but I'm part of Remax and we're number one and this and that. So it kind of helped me close the sale. And it was great. We went to Remax conferences, embraced the balloon. At some point, I was even making plans to do a Remax balloon tattoo, but that's a different podcast. We'll hit it next time.
I'm glad you didn't do that.
Oh yeah, me too. So within the next 5 years, well, I have developed as an agent. I have created client community, and I have created a team. One thing that Remax does not have set in stone is the systems how to grow a team. Yeah. And that's how I started learning about Gary Keller and his Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, the Red Book. Of course, I read it and didn't listen to any of that because you know how us agents are. We will go there, we'll listen to this, and we don't implement it. It's just how our industry is.
Yeah.
And my team started growing. And for 1 year and a half, I had a great operations manager. It was a missing tool. This great gentleman was part of my team. And then he left me. He left me because it was just the right thing for him. We're still friends, don't get me wrong. And then I realized I was in a space where I needed help. I was thinking, because I know my superpower as a team leader, I need to be out there promoting to clients, bringing business into the team. Operations and admin things is just not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
And you were an agent previously, right, Tracey? So you will relate to that. And our dear audience will relate to that too. So I just started thinking and focusing on production. And I asked my previous brokerage, I was part of for some help, and I was just not getting it. And when you see red flags coming one after another, then make an executive decision to leave. And we switched brokerages last year, August 1st, when we moved to KW. And for our dear audience watching, never move brokerage in the middle of the summer. It's going to be a shit show. Like, straight up. Don't do it. Okay? So it was a 90 days of transition. But one thing about KW, it felt like home. Culture, the shift in culture was drastic. I'm not saying Remax had a bad culture, but it was very kind of like closed door. Hey, I'm kind of busy. Well, at KW, like, hey, how are you doing? Let's go ahead and share. I was like, you want me to share? Are you going to share with me? What?
Yeah.
So that Keller Williams just has some very, very great leaders within their organization. And Gary, we all follow Gary. He's like a real estate god to us. Fun fact, I don't know if you saw, but a year ago, as an announcement video of us switching brokerages, I actually bought a Kool-Aid costume. And I was dancing in the Kool-Aid costume because I literally drink Kool-Aid. You know?
Yeah. I tried to find that video to show somebody because I loved it so much. And I couldn't find it. I was like, did she take that down?
No, I have to send it to you. It's still out there.
You got to send it to me. Okay. So that's a huge part probably of why you and I connect so much, is because obviously the marketing stuff is the stuff I love the most, and you're so good at it, and you do it. You're committed to it. You seem to love it. Maybe you don't, but it seems like you do. And I think that it shows in your business, in your company culture, not KW, but as your Lana Rodriguez Group. I feel like you guys have that cohesiveness, even though you're small. We're a small company. We have 7 employees, but company culture is a big deal. And I feel like even with a small team, you still have that company culture. So I commend you, and I love watching you. And I think everything that you do is off the chain. It's well thought out. You can tell that this is something. Okay, first of all, realtors are like, oh my gosh, that's so much work. I don't want to do all that. You make it seem so effortless. I know that it's not. I know that one of the things that we wanted to talk about was client appreciation parties, and I know you go all out for those. So tell us what you used to do before COVID, and then tell us how you changed that up and because you just had one recently, right?
Yeah, we actually had one recently, and we have one coming up this week. So
Good for you.
I'm like secretly crossing my fingers it doesn't get shut down.
Right. And you're in Colorado. So what kind of rules do you guys have right now?
So right now we are limited for people of 10 under a roof and closed space for gatherings. Okay. And then it's $225 for outside events.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we're going to host another outside event this Thursday, just 4 to 7. And we're spacing it out. So it's going to be, as COVID friendly as possible for our dear clients to come.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for bringing this topic, because client appreciation events, it's so dear to my heart.
Yeah.
And let me just give you a little background story. So I'm actually an immigrant. I don't know if you guys can hear that Russian accent, but I do have Russian accent. I worked really hard to speak proper English, and I'm still working. I'm not perfect. I mess things up, but work in progress. It's like
you have a beautiful accent, by the way. I'm sure people tell you that all the time, girl.
You know what? Surprisingly, you'll be surprised. People correct me. They're like, well, you should probably learn proper English. I'm like, huh?
My God. Okay. Anyway, that's whole nother podcast.
Yeah, it's just people's nature. I'm kind of fine with it, So when I came to America as an immigrant 15 years ago from the country of Latvia, a small country, part of Baltic states, it was very lonely. It was very lonely, and I never had a real set of friends or community. Then I met my wonderful husband, Brian, in Austin, who was active duty Army. And we traveled a little bit, not a lot. He went to 2 deployments with PCS to a few duty stations. But as an Army spouse, it's also very lonely. You come to a brand new space. So my ultimate goal, I wanted to create a community, community where I'm part of, where my clients come in and they're part of it, where they don't feel lonely or lost in a new living space. So when we moved to Colorado, my first year of business, I was luckily pregnant with my first daughter, Olivia. I was like, well, all these families are going to these nice places, I was just not invited because I did not know a lot of people.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, so what do I do? So I started brainstorming. I want to give credit to one of my first mentors in real estate. It was Mr. Brian Buffini. I'm sure you have heard of him. Immigrant story, working by referral. I have joined his training since day one. As a matter of fact, I secretly paid for the class away from my husband not knowing, Because he's like, no, you're not going to spend any more money. That's enough. We are like totally done. I was like, yeah, no. And you know what? It was the best investment. I think it was like a peak producer class. Some of the Buffini fans will know this class. And I was like, Coles, Notes, and Pop buys. Well, okay. So I was doing that for a good year. And when I had a kid, my first baby, this thing shifted. I needed to be more at home. Well, that really didn't work out well as well. I was at home only actually for 3 weeks and I went back to work. And it was the second year of business. And that year I did 119 transactions as a solo agent.
How many?
119.
Oh my God.
Tracey, you know what? That was a year, like it was a good year business wise because I was losing my shit, excuse my language. So I actually brought a TC to help me.
Yeah.
But I was still postpartum overweight. I was at solid 200 pounds. I gave up breastfeeding. Yeah, God. My husband was active duty. We haven't seen each other. And at some point I came home and my kids stopped recognizing me because my mom was watching her. And I'm like, oh, okay. So it was either the real estate or the motherhood, and real estate won that year particularly. What happened with me and how I got into client appreciation events is I have a baby, I have a husband, and my clients, like I always love to break bread with clients. You know, if you're an agent and you're not too busy, go take out your client to breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Forget the coffee. Coffee is for the birds, okay? I don't drink coffee because I have high anxiety, but I love to eat. Do you love to eat? Yeah, right?
Right.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to spend the quality time with clients, but I just didn't have enough time, right? Because my kid became a priority. So my first client appreciation event was at this local Brazilian grill, Tucano's Grill in Colorado Springs. It's not a fancy one. It's just like super entry level. And I rented out a small room of 50 people. 50 people, like some of the clients, some of the sphere I met. And that's how it started. And I was like, this is great. Everybody are drinking, eating, happy. I'm talking to everyone. And it's just, 4 or 5 hours of my time. That's it. And I can go back home and being a mom. Nice. So one event after another, and it started something small. And for our dear audience who's watching, like you don't have to have huge budget, guys. You don't have to. You can start anywhere from reserving a little happy hour place where they have $5 drinks and, $5 apps, and you just order a bunch of apps, order drinks or pictures of beer, and you host it on a budget. Or if you have a nice house, you're more than welcome to invite your lady clients for wine and cheese night. I'm always down for that, right? So yeah, it can be on a budget. It can be on a budget, easily done. And now on a good year, we're talking about last year, we host anywhere from 6 to 8 big client appreciation events, starting with big Easter brunch. I always do something for mothers. Usually it was painted with a twist. I rented out entire venue, invite all the lady clients. Then we do a big movie premiere. We always do something for back to school, perhaps either a barbecue or ice cream or social. Then our biggest client appreciation event is the pumpkin patch. We've been doing it for last 4 years. And actually this year we hosted it end of September and we got almost under 700 gifts.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. And right now we are doing our first annual trunk or treat because a lot of Halloween events are canceled.
Yeah.
And I just want to bring that joy to my client community. So we're going to space it out. We're going to have a couple food trucks. We're going to decorate our cars, some of the vendors. So it's going to be very family friendly, very COVID friendly, but they can come, get a little meal, get a few candy, and just take their kids home happy.
Totally. And I'm guessing that your clients expect things from you. They know you're going to have an event. That's why they come. You're consistent, and the way that you market yourself, you're unforgettable. Like there's no way that people can forget about you. You don't let them.
Yeah. So I want to say they kind of don't expect it, but they kind of do because we made it a habit.
Yeah.
And that's part of our, we work strictly by referral. We don't pay for Zillow leads. We don't pay for Realtor.com, nothing like that.
Okay.
Next year, we want to integrate some of the social media marketing, advertising, and narrow that part. But so far, our business is strictly referral based. And for our audiences, they're like, Lana, cut the crap. How many deals do you do a year? I was like, actually, for consecutive years, we actually do 200 plus transactions. Just from working our client event system, of course, focusing on client experience. But it really works, friends. And you know what? If you do the first client event or second and people don't show up, they need to get accustomed to doing that.
Yeah.
The first, second may not have a great turnaround, but when it's the third or fourth, hey, our realtor is doing this event, we should probably go.
Yep.
because in the back of my head, this is how we work marketing wise, right? Because real estate, if you don't do real marketing in real estate, you're not going to go far. Whatever marketing you do, at the end of every client event, then the few days after, we begin the promotion and marketing for the next client event.
Yeah.
So it gives us an opportunity in an organic way to stay constantly in front of our clients.
Yeah.
And it's not the salesy way, because I hate to be sold. Like if Zillow calls me, I'm like, I'm never going to answer. No more Zillow. No. Right. But if it's somebody who's going to provide me value or invite me somewhere, I'm going to be like, okay, I'm yours,
Yep. Yeah, totally. Okay. So you and I just discussed CRMs, and I was asking you about, what systems you were using, and did you want to talk about that? And you said your CRM was Facebook for a long time.
Yeah.
And you're definitely not the only one. When I realtored, it took me, I don't know, 11, 12 years to finally take all my people out of my Gmail and make a separate list. And then I did not have a CRM either. And most people don't. And it's literally probably one of the most important things that we should be doing. And you're a Brian Buffini. So how did you get away with not having a CRM? So tell me.
So just like most realtors, I suffer from the shiny object syndrome.
Yep.
Brian Buffini, yes, I paid for the Brian Buffini CRM. Did I use it? Yeah. Eventually maybe I did, but then it kind of just went off the deep end.
Right.
The only CRM that works is the one you use. Bottom line, okay? No matter how fancy tools it has. When I started real estate, we were brand new to Colorado. And I'm never going to forget that moment. I joined Remax, and I was still sitting there, brand new green agent at their sales meeting. Actually, it was an award ceremony. And they have these awards for all these GCI. Number one, I even didn't know what GCI was. And I'm like, what are these people? What are these crazy numbers? And there's somebody explaining me, I'm like, this is how much these realtors make. I'm like, holy shit. What in the world? I'll never make it. I don't even know anyone in this town, right? So this is what I started doing. I created my separate Facebook account. I'm not talking about professional. It was a personal Facebook account. And anyone I met, anyone, as a matter of fact, I'll tell you guys where my first client came from. It may be a big aha because people think, well, you cannot get business there. Well, yes, you can. And anyone I met, I was like, do you mind if I friend you on Facebook? And if you ask this question to people, they're never going to say no, especially if they like you and you're having a good conversation, because the business cards, they work, but only a little percentage because people are always going to misplace them, right? Misplace them, whatever, lose them. So you have to find your connection way. My first client came from a lady at the DMV. Me and my husband went to the DMV in Colorado, processing our license or whatever. Yeah. And back then, at Remax, they told us, hey, you got this business card. You need to give your business card to anyone you meet. And I'm like, oh, man, I feel super stupid doing that. But sure enough, I'm sitting across the DMV lady. I'm like, oh, man, here. She's like, oh, you're a realtor. I'm like, yeah, it's me. Hello. She's like, oh, I'm going to keep it. I'm like thinking, yeah, I'm probably not going to keep it. True story. 2 weeks later, my phone rings. And Barbara, I've been referred by such and such who would like to buy a house. I'm like, well, that sounds really good. I don't know who such and such is.
Right.
When I met with Barbara and her husband, I was like, so who is this? I started asking questions. Well, this is a lady. She works for DMV. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. This is crazy. And true story, this lady, Barbara, they bought a house, okay, lived there for 1 year, got divorced, sold a house. She bought a house with her and her daughter. So because of this one little DMV referral, okay, me just giving this, 3 transactions in the last 5 years. Guys, I'm not making this up. I have social proof if you want to ask me that. I promise.
Okay, well, the funniest part is that and this happens all the time. A friend of mine, I was with her and this happened. Somebody called and I was referred by so-and-so. And she's like, oh, great. That's awesome. She gets off the phone. She's like, I don't know who that is. She's like, and that's the worst question to have to ask. But you have to, obviously, you got to know, you can't go through it, pretending like you know who this person is. So you have to ask. But those are the best stories ever. And those stay with you forever. You'll probably tell that story, 10, 15 years down your career line. I mean, that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah. And so back to the Facebook CRM. So I would add all these people, into my Facebook. And so once again, organic marketing, right? If you look at my personal feed, I post a lot of family content because I'm still a mom and a wife. I do like to have humorous content, because I like to laugh a lot. Yeah. And our life is already
Yeah.
sad. Like especially this year is sad. So every time I can post something funny, but then every once in a while sneak in something real estate, right? Not every day, 5 hours, 5 times a day. No. This way people are like, oh, Lana is funny. Lana is real estate. My goal is for people, when they think of real estate, I want them to think of me. All things real estate, hello,
Hey.
right? Real estate life. And that's my goal, because they may never use me, but they may refer me to their neighbor or to somebody they know, right? One story, I don't know if we're good on time, but so another thing what I did, I bought 85 pumpkin pies in 2014. My husband thought I was crazy. My fellow Remax agents, they literally were laughing at me. And I created a Facebook event for free pumpkin pie to complete strangers. And I had about 75, 85 RSVPs. And for 4.5 days, I drove around town in my little Kia, delivering these pies to people's doors, right? Why did I do that? Well, number one, because I knew Buffini systems were talking something about the pies. They were actually talking about the pie party. Well, I knew nobody. So no one would come to my party, right? So I literally drove. Number one, I was super exhausted. On the last day, my husband helped me, I think, because before he thought it was a crazy idea, so he didn't.
Right.
And this is what I would do. People who were nice to me, who would like actually welcome me to their home and maybe give me a glass of water, they would ask, so why are you doing that? And I would say, hey, well, I'm a new realtor. Here's my little business card. Here's your pie. I would add them on Facebook once again. And I'm not making this up. Up to this day, like maybe once a month, somebody would message me. I'm like, hey, I don't know if you remember us from that year, but we're ready to buy a house.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, yes, it paid off. So
yes.
And I like simply through Facebook, because they're somewhere in my Facebook friends group.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? Like, it's cliche and true. A little kindness goes really far. And it might not even just be about the pie. It might just be about how nice you are to do that. Or just like that person asked you, like, why are you doing this? First of all, that's what makes you stand out as a realtor. But also on a human level, you know what I'm saying? Like, we need more of that. So all realtors should go out and give out pies, because I think that's like the best idea ever. And it's simple, and people do pie parties and people do come pick up and all that. But you drove around, dropped them off at their house. And I'm sure realtors still, do that now. Not to mention you're getting their address too, by the way, in your CRM. So smarty pants.
Haha. But ultimately, friends, here's a little pie hack, because friends, if you're not doing anything to nurture your database this holiday season, here's the perfect opportunity. Yeah. What Thanksgiving is what, like less than a month away, away. We buy our pies at Costco. Just as simple as that. They have a in-house bakery. The pies are super fresh. We order it week prior. We pick it up the morning off. And if you're on a budget, because right now we made a fancy pie selection. We have apple, we have pecan, and we have pumpkin. But pumpkin pie is only $5.99, and it's almost 3 pounds.
They're huge.
So it's so delicious. And you're not gonna find $5.99 pie at any other bakery. I promise you that. So if you're on a budget, go to Costco, pre-order it, and do it. People are gonna love it. And you know what's the most interesting part? When we push through these cards,
right? People ask you.
People are like, what is this pie party? So we have an opportunity to give out cards. Or I'm like, here, take a pie. Here, have the things. They're like, really? I'm like, yeah. Like, here.
That is so awesome. I love that. Another thing about Costco that I just learned, and I posted it to my personal page, but I was like, realtors, they sell cookie dough uncooked, and you can get like 180 cookies for like, I swear it was like under $20. Don't quote me on that, but I know it was way cheaper. So you can freeze them and bake them and do them in batches. Or if you're doing a thing right now, you can freaking cook them all and, take them out as a holiday thing. I do want to say something about the holiday stuff too, though, because, just like us as a company, we're always having to market ourselves as well. But we're also thinking about ways for you guys to market, because that's how we stay in business. So obviously it's like a constant circle. And I feel like, and I could be wrong, but I don't think I am, but I think everybody is clinging, even though everything is different, it's not the same. Everybody's clinging to the holidays this year, because we are all looking for something to look forward to and something to like bring joy in our lives, and something like, we know Thanksgiving and Christmas, it all comes every year, but something about this year, I think, is different, obviously. I think it's a really great opportunity for realtors to really hone in on what makes them happy, and do that. Just like the pie thing makes you happy. That's why you do it. You look forward to it. Otherwise, you're not going to do it, right? You said that in the beginning. It's always the same thing with realtors. Like, do the stuff that you love to do and don't do the stuff that you don't love to do, or have somebody
You
else
said
do.
it.
Yeah.
You said it.
Because you're not going to do
Yep.
it. Nobody wants
No,
to do stuff they don't
no.
want to do.
Yeah. I think all the realtors watching, I think we all have our superpowers. So as long as you focus on our superpowers, or what I say also a selling style. Like my selling style is, well, or shall I say a language of love is gifts and quality time.
Yeah.
Okay. So quality time, it makes me so happy seeing our client family. Like just having the joy in their eyes, that makes me happy. That brings my love meter up. For all of our dear audience watching, like guys, this is a perfect opportunity. Not only because it's a COVID year, the most messed up year ever, right?
Right.
It's also the holiday season coming up. And even like do a pop by. If you're on a budget, do a freaking pop by to your clients. Okay.
Yeah.
They're just gonna love to see you on their porch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I share with you some of the COVID friendly things we did this year?
Yes.
Maybe to help our dear audience.
Yes. Yes.
So in Colorado, things hit hard around mid-March. We had our big Easter brunch reserved with the Easter bunny and all kind of things, and clearly we had to cancel.
Yeah.
Well, every time we like have to cancel something like this, my mind is triggered. I'm like, oh my God, that's like, what are we gonna do? We have to do something. Yeah. So literally within less than a week, we called all our 450 client families living in town, and we're like, hey, we're canceling, but this is what we're doing instead. So we delivered 280 pizzas to clients' houses right before the shutdown. Okay. Once again, we were that team at Costco stocking up on pizzas. Got some angry looks. They're like, hey, we're about to go into the close down. You buying all this? I'm like, yeah. Well, toilet paper was already out. So right. I was like, no toilet paper. Let's go pizzas. And I personally delivered 50 pizzas myself in 2 days, and the team delivered the rest. But just having these conversations on porches with your clients, they're like, hey, how are you? What do you need? Here's some pizza. And who doesn't love pizza? Like everybody loves pizza.
Right.
And then we kind of put things on pause. And in May, when things started opening back up, still were COVID restrictions. It was Cinco de Mayo and it was Mother's Day. I'm like, well, what are we going to do now? And with the help of my amazing team, we brainstormed and we did a drive-through taco party. So in 5 hours, we gave out, 2,224 tacos.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious. In our office parking lot, our Keller Williams has this huge parking lot, which is an amazing perk. We had a taco truck. I prepaid for his time and I paid for tacos. So it was fully complimentary for our clients. We had their orders and we had a line all the way from like another street down. And they pull up their order. They all got a complimentary bottle of wine. Because most of my clients like to drink, and so am I. Just kidding.
Wine tacos, I'm in all day.
Yeah. So I was like, we have to do this. And it was a great hit. And, even some clients who never come out, they sure came out for some tacos. So it was a great turnaround.
I love that.
And then we did another outdoor event. We did mini golf, rented out the entire mini golf for half of the day to our clients only, designated time slots, open air. We had food. We actually had the same taco truck to come back because it was great. And then we had a pumpkin patch. We rented out the entire pumpkin patch just end of September. And now we're doing trunk or treat that I think is going to go well. But then the next event coming up would have been the pie party. But we have to see. We'll most likely going to be doing pie deliveries to our clients this year.
Yeah. A couple things too with that, with your social media, obviously you're really, really good at that. You just got back from a conference and you presented this year. So I want to hear about that. I want to hear about the conference, and I want to hear about what you presented on, because I think it's awesome.
Oh my God. Yes. Me and my team, we attended the Hyperfast Sales Agent. It was my third year in a row attending this conference. And this year I invited my team. So they were part of this and get to experience. The conference is held by an amazing agent, Miss Carrie Schul, and her husband, Dan Lesniak. They're their own brokerage and mega team within DMV area, or Virginia, Arlington area. I saw her 3 years ago, and I remember I just had my second kid, and I saw her online. She's talking about business and growth. I told my husband, this lady over here, she's hosting some conference and I need to go. And Brian's like, you are crazy. And sure enough, actually, we were on the plane 3 weeks later. My newborn baby was left with my mom. I'm about to get really personal. This is how committed I was. I was late to my flight. I raced across the airport and I peed my pants at the gate. Yeah, how embarrassing, super embarrassing, because I was just 3 weeks postpartum. Things did not heal down there. But I was like, I'm going to see this lady.
Oh my God.
And sure enough, we actually missed our flight and I had to buy brand new. Carrie has been a mentor and coach for me for last 3 years.
Okay.
She granted me her stage and opportunity to speak. Last year, I spoke about client events. And this year, I spoke about TikTok. How about that?
And you haven't been TikToking very long, right? How long have you been doing that?
Well, yeah, I have been TikToking since March.
Okay. Yeah, you just started.
By trial and error. And it was not like one day I woke up, I was like, let me just get on TikTok. No, a few things led to that. So in March, when we went to shutdown, I also had a surgery that I was recovering from. And instead of being 1 month on pain pills, I was 2 months on pain pills.
Oh. Yeah.
So, I actually went to do the depression. Who knows what depression is? But anyway.
Right.
And my Facebook got hacked. My main Facebook account got hacked, completely black. It took me a little over a month to get it back. Thank God. Thank God. Yeah, my personal Facebook page got hacked fully, locked out, like some kind of master hack. And you know what? So back to Facebook. I'm part of many groups. I have almost 5,000 friends. I have my client community group there. And when all that was like done, I felt handicapped, by, I don't know what to do. And I downloaded TikTok as a joke. And there's first 2 stages. You download TikTok as a joke, and then you start scrolling, and you start relating to the content, and then you start posting. And I was just posting little mom-looking videos because a lot of my clients are mom friends. So I would download it on my phone, the video, and I would send it to them as a text message. And they're like, oh, we love it. But then one of my first videos actually went viral. And I'm like, whoa, wait a second. I kind of like the sound of that. And I immediately kind of got I want to say 5,000 followers from that one video. So then I started exploring that app more and more. Am I the marketing guru to tell you guys all about TikTok? No, but there is definitely some of the little perks to join. And I know you have an account there. And every time I wear the swag, I always try to guys tag you.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, we actually got some business inquiries from there.
Yeah. I'll be honest. We tried it. And then we were like, okay, first of all, everybody who works for me is literally under 30 years old. They're mostly in their mid-20s. So they're all young. And when they couldn't figure some of it out, well, first of all, it's the age thing, where like that generation is not on Facebook. That's for us old people. But TikTok, it's all over the place. Like there's no real discriminatory, like it's anybody and everybody, which is, I like watching it, but we still haven't figured it out. We're on there, but we haven't done anything with it. And then some people wear our stuff and do TikTok videos, and we'll share that out on Instagram and Facebook. But on TikTok, we're lost. I don't know. I should have came to the class.
Well, maybe I can do a private class for you and your marketing director, and I can just share some tips. You'd be like, wow, TikTok really does it. I'm like, actually, yes, let's do it. Let's schedule it sometime. You will be amazed because you can actually promote a product. There's some little brands who no one knows of them, and they make their videos of like even creating a product. It's so interesting that people follow and share and buy. Yeah.
Well, and TikTok's so fun, and you have such a fun personality. It matches you really well, and you draw people in. You're like, okay, everybody's gonna laugh with me. And TikTok is like the perfect platform for you.
It is. And before we stop talking about TikTok, for our dear audience, TikTok is the only platform that lets you gain organic followers fast.
Yeah.
Okay. You just have to be consistent. You have to be present on the platform. Either you're interacting with other people's content or you're creating your own. But even from August 3rd, when I had the opportunity to speak, when I found out about the opportunity to speak on Hyperfast, and October 12th, I gained almost 10,000 followers organically.
Yeah.
Posting whenever, posting whatever.
Yeah.
So, but it was interesting content for some people, So just for your audience, please get on TikTok. I promise it's not a waste of time.
Right. Also, too, you went out there to train other agents, and I know that you're such a giving person, and you're like me. You're like, share the information, and just like you said when you first started, it felt like many people didn't want to share, didn't want to give up, their $1 million golden ticket for real estate, which does not exist, by the way. But is that your motivation and your reasoning for? I always love seeing realtors train other realtors and share their stuff. Why do you do that? What's your reason?
Number one, I'm a firm believer that there's plenty of business for everyone.
Yep.
For everyone, right?
Yeah. You can't have it all.
Yeah.
You don't want it all.
Well, maybe. Just kidding.
No, there's plenty of clients you do not want. I know.
And you know what? And I think us ultimately as a real estate industry, we can be better together. Yep. There's a lot of missed opportunities out there. I think if we work together, even networking, learning from each other, we can just be better. Because right now there's big technology companies that are actually taking over, and they want to put realtors out of business.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's not me against you. That's you against Zillow, who has $1 billion of budget to put realtors out of business. So, and that's why focus on relationships comes more than ever.
Yep.
And being unique is more important, because yes, consumer is always going to go on Zillow. Okay, it is what it is. They're number one platform, but they're not going to get that experience from Zillow agent or from Zillow bot, right?
Right.
That's why if you stay authentic, if you show your clients that they're really a priority for you. Here's my favorite quote: "People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care."
Aw. See, no, it's totally true. And real estate is so relationship based. Most people know that, but some people, I think we know, obviously we know that in our industry, but from the outside looking in, people don't know what we do as realtors. And that's something that I've been telling everybody from the beginning, like, talk about the home inspection, talk about all the things that you do, and your job is hard. Like, being a realtor is freaking hard. It's not easy. And of course, people come to you and they're like, oh, I'm thinking about being a realtor. And you're like, because I want to make some money or whatever. And it's like, it's such a hard job. It's a full time, like, you can't do it part time. And it's because of those relationships. And because when the relationships are a part of your business plan, everything else just falls into place and things are much easier that way. You're not trying to build a business that, just like you said, being authentic. Don't try to build a business on something that this guy over here is doing. You need to do what works for you, being consistent, all of those things. You guys do it so well. Okay, before we go, I want to talk about your team. I want to know where you're at right now with your team, how that kind of happened, because I know a lot of people are either thinking about joining a team or starting a team, and it's always that making that decision to finally do it or get an assistant or however that works for you. Tell us about your team. I want to know about you and your hubby working together and kind of where you're headed and what your plan is for the future.
Yeah, thank you for asking. This is a great question. So for first 2 years, I was rolling solo. And the second year, when I had a brand new baby at home, 110 transactions, I was simply losing it. I was very unhappy. I was overweight, and I just work. And me and my husband we went to actually one of the bikini conferences, and the theme was a leap of faith. And I usually don't like goal setting or nothing like that. My mind is not triggered like that. But I was like, leap of faith. Okay, so then we had to do an exercise, and I'm like, I'm gonna start a team. Ask the team. I'm like, it makes sense. And my husband's like, no. You get to get more organized. You don't need a team. I'm like, yeah, no. So short thing, I went back to Colorado and I started kind of making a plan to start a team. And there was this lady, she was working in the title office, and she took me out to lunch to kind of recruit me back, my business back to it. And I was like, I'm looking at her. I was like, you are going to come work with me. I'm going to recruit you. She's like, oh, wow, that's so random. And I sure did. I recruited Debbie Volk January 2017, and she's been with me already almost 4 years.
Oh my God.
If my math right, 3-4 years. And she's my listing manager. She's this hardcore Italian lady, and she's a former title background, former law background, and I'm not saying, so also for our audience watching, you don't have to be good at all. For example, for me, I'm buyer's agent at heart. I love working with buyers. I love looking at homes. And I always wanted to outsource my sellers. Not because I don't love them. I still love them. For some of my clients watching, I love you guys. But Debbie's so much better than me at this. So yes, she handles all the sellers because she's a master negotiator. We trained together for 2 years. and now she's totally killing it. I had 2 buyer's agents. And see, this is where I messed up. Gary Keller tells you at first you need to have a very strong admin team, and then you bring agents. But I was so much hurting for help that I just brought agents, and then we were like chickens with a cat's head cut off, running
around everywhere,
business. Yeah, and that's when I brought that operations gentleman who was a fantastic asset for 1 year and a half. We were running smooth. As a matter of fact, the years he was with us, we were on track to do 300 transactions. But the minute he left me, I'm like, what do I do, right?
Yeah.
So now the team is 5 of us licensed agents and 2 support staff. And the goal was to grow. That's one of the reasons why we moved to Keller Williams. Yeah. And of course, this year put things on pause, but I cannot complain. I'm very grateful. It put on pause for a lot of people, and a lot of people, lost their jobs. So I cannot complain about any of that.
Yeah.
Next year, I will get systems back in place. I'm going to bring another operations manager. I'm so excited. I think I already know the candidates, and we're just in the middle of process of interviewing. So I'm super stoked. I want to bring people into my team. I want to provide them opportunities that I had or I didn't have, but we have to do it right. And another thing, when people are thinking of growing a team, you as a leader, you need to identify your superpower. Like me, I'm a people person. Don't make me do any TC or admin stuff because I'm going to fail. As simple as that. And everyone on our team, they're different and they contribute to the team. Oh. For example, my husband, working with a husband is a different topic. It's challenging, but it's also very rewarding.
Yeah.
He has an investor mindset. Anything investment is his thing. And now he actually is merging into commercial world.
Wow.
Listing manager Debbie, like she handles a lot of listings. I have junior and senior buyer specialists. Our junior buyer specialist, Harrison, he's absolutely killing it. Young guy, super well connected in town, played football, super outgoing. So he relates to these younger consumers, Yeah. And then we have Isela. Isela, she's our senior. Harrison was junior, I'm sorry. Isela, she's a hustler, Army spouse. Her husband is SF, Special Forces, mom of 4, true hustler. Will go to work and relate to anyone.
Yeah.
Especially if they have the same avatar of a wife or a mom. And then we have Susie Henry. She's our client care manager, a lovely lady. She's also kind of like my assistant. She helps me in house and, with work a lot. But she takes care of our client follow-up. If clients, she's like a client concierge as well.
Yeah.
And then we have full-time in-house videographer, photographer. So that's a decision I made. It's easier to have it in-house when you do a lot of listings and you have in-house production versus depending on, independent contractors out there.
Wow. So that person only does your stuff? Wow.
Yeah, they're a full-time salaried position, 40 hours a week, 50 hours sometimes. And he does our in-house marketing, editing. Whenever I want to shoot a video, we just go ahead and schedule it and we do it. Yep. So he has his wedding photography business on the side, but he does it on the weekends, so it does not interfere with our hours.
Yeah. Do you have that person also doing other, that opens up so much more because then you're like, hey, I want to do this video for the client appreciation party, or that just gives you, oh my God, that's so smart. I never even really thought of that. Do a lot of people do that, or did you just do that because you needed it?
No, we are only one of the few teams in the city who has it. I know there's another brokerage who has it and maybe one other team. It's not very common. Because it's a big investment. You have to, hire somebody full time and you have to invest in their salary where they live on. Actually, the videos were always kind of part of my thing, but I would always have to be on those people's schedule. It's not on my schedule. Yeah. Because my mind is very creative. Sometimes I can think of it and I want
to do it now.
Yeah, or 24 hours or 48 hours. Well, this idea is still fresh. And they're like, well, no, we are booked or we're going to send somebody else. And I'm like, and actually the learning experience was the company I was working with. They did our client appreciation video and they just dropped the ball. They dropped the ball and I watched and I literally cried when I watched that video. It was done so just bad, right?
Ugh.
And you know what? They never really owned up to it. It was not like, hey, let us reshoot it. You don't have to pay us. Because when we mess up, when the real just mess up, we're going to do whatever it takes to fix it. Right? That's how we are. Yep. And they were like, well, what it is, what it is. We're sorry. But it was not even a discount or nothing. Never going to need a discount, but I need just some human decency. And after that, I'm like, I am done. And sure enough, I created an ad and hired, and here we are on my second videographer right now.
That's so smart. And I'm sure that the amount of money that you're spending on photos and videos, your listings, your party, all that stuff probably comes close to what you're paying them anyway. So,
Oh, it adds up. It adds up. It adds up. And especially because, yes, we do high res of photography, but we also do video tours
yeah.
or, on all our listings. And it adds up. Like,
yeah.
it just makes sense, especially for the agents watching who are listing heavy. Like, do the numbers. And you know what? Those salaries start anywhere from like $35,000 a year, especially if they're younger and they're less experienced, but have good equipment. Why not?
Yeah. And you get to brainstorm on other things that you can do. It doesn't have to just be listing videos and client appreciate. I mean, there's so many, they can TikTok with you.
Here we go. Yeah.
Exactly. I love that. And that's what I love about realtors are entrepreneurs anyway. You guys are mini corporations. I say this all the time. When you treat it like a business, you see those things more clear and you can make decisions that are best for your business and ultimately best for you, obviously. So I love that you recognize that and just was like, I'm going to hire a videographer. I literally have never heard of anybody doing that. So freaking smart.
Yeah. Or like for you, you can start a vlog. You know how many people would want to see behind the scenes what you guys are doing with there or how you're creating? I would love that. I'm like a super fan.
I know. So I mean, we love marketing and we're pretty great at it, but there is so much to do and so much that can be done that it's like, we're just like this little blip on this huge, we look to you guys for a lot of our marketing because we love to watch how people are using our product and out in the wild and we get to share all that. And so we're reposting and all that stuff. So you guys are really our content.
Aw. Well, Tracey, I sure hope this is a request from guys on my team. They want to see more men's tees.
I know. And we want to do more. They always say that and then they never buy them. And then we have all these men's t-shirts. We're like, okay, but we're going to buy them. We're going to roll out a couple. We need a few want to buy a house stuff and a few other things. So we're definitely doing that.
Because all my ladies, all my ladies have like 3, 4, sets, right. And the guys like, well, what about
us? I know. They don't shop like ladies do. No, but the guys do get into it. We try to make sure that we have some stuff. We have dry fit and we only have a few things, but we'll do more. We love the guys too.
Oh, awesome.
I just want to tell you how much, if I haven't already, we love you and love watching you. And, and this is the thing too, again, relationships, right? It's the same for any business. And we love having relationships with our customers, and the people that engage with us more are the people we engage with more. And so it's definitely that give and take and staying in front of people and all that. You're so good at it. And you were top of mind when we were like, okay, we need podcast people or we need, stuff for our blog and pictures, and we send you gift card and we're like, buy what you want, just send us the pictures. Those are it's the same thing. We're doing the same thing that you're doing as a realtor. We're treating our customers the way that realtors treat their clients. And sometimes I call you guys my clients instead of customers, but
we are your clients. No,
I know, right?
Are,
It's definitely the same thing. And we just love what you're doing and keep doing it. And I can't wait to see what happens in the years to come. Also, where can people find you? Obviously.
Oh, thank you for asking. Yes, friends, for all of you watching Facebook, please add me or send me a message, because right now I'm kind of maxed out of friends. So I'm going to have to deal with some people to add you. Send me a message on Facebook, Instagram, the Lana Rodriguez or Lana Rodriguez, Realtor in Colorado Springs. Or of course, follow me on TikTok. I promise to post some entertaining content. My phone number, we can post it, 719-644-0278. It's my personal cell. So if anyone is struggling or need advice on anything, text me. Don't call me because I might not answer if I don't know your number. But if you text me, I'll sure reply. I'm a texter at heart, that's just my thing. But I would love to connect and to hear from some of you. Hopefully our episode was helpful. And dear agents, just one last food for thought, connect with other fellow pros out of state, because you never know, somebody you're going to friend out of Alaska or Texas may have a referral for you coming in, in your city.
Yep, totally. I was going to say that too. And you're a part of Lab Coat Agents. We didn't get to talk about that a lot, but you are heavy in that community, and I love seeing the camaraderie there. But anytime somebody asks for a realtor in your area, I'm always, I go to tag you, and somebody else or 4 other people have already tagged you. So I'm like, she's got it covered. But that referral business, it's a whole nother, I mean, that you can't, that has to just definitely should be a part of everybody's business. So
I love learning. I love meeting other people. Okay. And I love being kind of like the dumbest person in the room. Like you have to be the dumbest person in the room because that's the only way you're going to learn and grow. Right. But even since the last 3 years or 4 years, when I started attending real estate conferences, like all those connections matter. You may think it's not going to matter, but it matters. And especially within this year and last year, our referral business picked up, and I'm so thankful for these opportunities. So, next year, hey, maybe you need to host a conference. All things real estate conference. OMG.
Girl, I've been wanting to do that forever. And then I'm like, I do the national conference and I want to die. I'm like, I'm 50. I'm like, I am not a spring chicken anymore. I want to pass out every night. The girls that come to help me, they're like going out to dinner and I'm like, I'll be right here in bed. Like, oh my God, there's so much work. But yes, I totally want to do it. Maybe I'll do it in Colorado. You can help me out.
Okay.
Like a client appreciation party, but for realtors.
Here we go. I'd love that. I'd love to help you. I'd love to connect. We need more connection and more love within our community.
Agree. And Lana is the person, so connect with her. Thank you so much for doing this. Friends, this has been a pleasure. And Lana, you have a podcast too, don't you?
Yeah, I have a podcast, but I was a bit inconsistent with the podcast. It's called Top 5 with Lana Rodriguez. So maybe I'll jumpstart it and I can interview you next time. How about that?
See, and we'll find you some people to interview. But that's a whole nother topic. But thank you, Lana, for being here.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you so much, Tracey, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye, hon.
Bye. Mwah.
Mwah.